Hello, it's Honey, and today I just want to hop on really quick just to talk to you a little bit more about gluten. I want to give you some foods to avoid. I think I have about 20 of you for you to avoid on a celiac, managing a celiac slash gluten-free diet. But before I get started, I just wanted to follow up just a little bit on my last video. I said that Lyme disease is in my brain and it prevents me from doing certain things, but I feel like I need to give just a little bit more information on that because I kind of feel like I left the audience hanging just a little bit. I just wanted to say what that means when I say Lyme disease is in my brain. And for some people, well, obviously it's different for everyone with Lyme disease who has had their brains attacked by it. Some people are extremely depressed, suicidal. Some people actually killed themselves. Lyme disease is the #1 disease for suicide. Some people are schizophrenic, but the way that it has affected my brain is, again, it prevents me from doing stuff. Like my brain fog will be so heavy that I can't like figure my way out of things. Like I don't really pay bills and those kind of things. Like anything that's going to require me to do a whole bunch of focusing. So the brain fog is just that heavy. Maybe like, for instance, like if I wanted to clean up or something. Now, I'm always cognizant of what I want to do or what I'm trying to do. It's in my brain. I can see it in my mind's eye, but my brain won't give me the signals necessary for me to carry it out. I hope that makes sense. So, again, like if I wanted to clean up or something like that, just say maybe I want to do the dishes. Like I know how to do dishes. And I could go to the sink to try to run the water and then I'm just stuck. Like I can't go any further because again, my brain won't give me the signals to do it. It's not like that all the time. And one thing I'm grateful for is that I can talk. Now again, I might forget what I'm saying. I might forget the entire topic right in the middle of while I'm talking, but I'm grateful because I know so many people with this that are a lot worse off than I am. So I hope that kind of makes sense. It's basically in a nutshell, my brain won't give the rest of my body the signals necessary to carry out a particular function. So, all right, that's enough of that. I want to go on and because I want to keep this video short. And so I'm just going to go right into talking about the foods to avoid while managing a celiac diet. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to read them. Of course, no one could remember all of these things. So let's just get started. Malt. Malt is the first one. And that's any kind of malt. Malt, milk, malt vinegar. And malt vinegar is in a lot of stuff, but, we want to stay away from that. In my first video, I mentioned wheat, oats, rye, some oats, rye, and barley. Those are kind of like the staples that you want to just kind of avoid. But there are so many more foods. And so that's what I want to just kind of give you. It's the basics for you to just have some sort of foundation on this journey. I want to kind of take all of the guesswork out of it for you, or as much of it as I can. I want this journey to be as smooth sailing for others because it wasn't for me. It is now, but it wasn't for me in the beginning. So let's see, we have beer, bread, desserts. So anything made with flour, like cakes, cookies, and pies, stay away from those. Cereal, crackers, and chips, stay away from those. French fries. French fries are a little bit controversial and because a potato is naturally gluten-free. But if you're preparing it at home, then that's one thing. But if you're going to eat out, then a lot of managers and staff just don't have enough information on gluten for me to feel safe eating there. So just say you wanted to order, some fries and they've already said, that they're gluten-free, but they may not understand that if those fries were cooked in a fryer that say like chicken nuggets or something were cooked in, then it's no longer gluten-free. If that potato or those fries barely touched a slice or a bun, a slice of bread or a bun, like barely touched it, like that, is no longer gluten-free. It could wreak havoc on a person who has celiac, a gluten intolerance, or a gluten sensitivity. So for that reason, I won't eat fries out. Pasta, no. Processed meats, including like hot dogs and lunch meats, salad dressings, sauces, and soups. Medication, I mentioned that in my other video, that sometimes prescription medications will have gluten in them. It's just as simple as having a talk with your pharmacist. A lot of pharmacists that I've had will kind of do the research for you, but you are, free at any given time to contact the manufacturer to find out if gluten is in any of the meds that you're taking. Vitamins and supplements, now for me, those are a lot easier because the labels will already say gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, non-GMO, and there are a lot of good brands out there, vitamins and supplements, that you could take. You don't really have to do a whole bunch of research on them because there are so many of them, and again, their bottles are usually labeled. Lipstick and lip balm is a little bit controversial because some people don't feel in the medical community that if you're putting it on your lips, that it's enough to really make a difference. But people with celiac disease beg to differ. And if you're anything like me, like somebody that just go all day long putting, your moisturizer on your lips, then I'm quite sure I ingest enough of it to make a difference every day. Like we don't feel like we're eating it, but you kind of are. It's just so close to your mouth. Your lips, is so close to your tongue. It's just easy to ingest it. Communion wafers. And that kind of is usually bread, but even the wafers aren't gluten-free. But there's a way around that. My husband and I, we just take our own, so that we still can participate if you participate in communion. Eggs at restaurants. That's another one that's kind of controversial because some restaurants mix their eggs with pancake batter. And I don't know if they do it to make it fluffier or to stretch them. I really don't know why they do it. I just know that they do. And so for that reason, I will not eat fried eggs, scrambled eggs, or nothing like that from a restaurant. But now, boiled eggs are a little different. And I will eat those out, but only if the manager is confident and can assure me that nothing else was cooked in the pot or is ever cooked in the pot that those eggs are boiled in. Then I might go ahead and eat one or two. Let's see, what else do we have? Play-Doh. Can you believe that Play-Doh has gluten in it? It does. And what is even more shocking to me is that there's a gluten-free Play-Doh. So parents with children with celiac or gluten intolerance or sensitivity, Play-Doh does have gluten in it, but not to worry because there is a gluten-free version on the market. And toothpaste and mouthwash, that is actually in your mouth. So I think that goes without saying. You want to get a gluten-free version of it. And they do exist. They do exist. Oops, sorry about that. And I think I'm going to stop there. I think that's the end of the list that I've got together for today anyway. And one other thing that I want to add, well, two things I want to say. This is not like the end of it. Like there are so many alternatives and good alternatives, and I'm going to share those in my next video. I'm going to share alternatives for the majority of the foods that I've listed today. But ultimately, what I would like to see people embrace sooner rather than later is just preparing your own foods. That way you don't have to worry about it. Now, I do eat out from time to time. I think I'm down to like 3 places that I feel safe with eating from. I haven't eaten out in over a year now, but it's almost a year due to COVID. But I do, normally I will eat out from time to time, but ultimately we fix about 90% of our meals. We prepare them ourselves. Another thing I want to say is, unfortunately, you're gonna have to start reading labels, and it can be very time consuming. It can be frustrating, it can be even stressful. Going to stores, your trips now to the grocery stores are just going to be a lot longer than they were before, but it's all worth it because you're going to feel better. And as time goes on, you'll start being able to identify gluten. You still have to read labels because companies change their ingredients all the time, and they don't say it on commercials, and they don't put it on a banner or on a billboard or anything. So it's up to you to figure these things out. But again, I want to make this transition and this journey easier for you. That's why I'm here. So hopefully some of these things that I'm telling you, you'll be able to incorporate them, and you'll find that it's making it a lot easier. Reading the labels and learning, what I did first was I would take a list, I'll make a list of the foods that I can't have, and then I would always take that list with me to the store. Like, again, it's time consuming, but what other choices do we have? There are no there are no there's no cure for celiac disease. The only cure is a lifelong adherence to a strict gluten-free diet. So, it gets easier. It was very difficult for me in the beginning, and that's what's making me want to do this. Again, I want to make your journey as easy as possible. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get off now. I hope that this video has inspired you to feel more comfortable about getting out there and making choices, because I know when I first started, I was scared. I just ate just a few things because I was just, you get sick and it's not even worth it. So I only had just, a few foods that I would eat. But as time went on, I started getting a little bit more comfortable. And the more I learned about what I had to do in order to get back to some sort of normalcy, the better I was feeling about the choices I was making. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't be fearful of it, embrace it, because the quicker you do, the better you'll start to feel. So again, I hope this has helped you in some sort of way. My next video is going to be about alternatives to these foods. I just think that it's best to just learn these foods right now and not go with the alternatives. Like, just try to avoid them for as much as you can until you get to a point that you understand them. And then you can start getting, filtering in the alternatives. And what that means, again, is that you will be preparing your own gluten-free foods at home. So a lot of these things that I've listed, they are just, packaged foods anyway. And the last thing I'm going to say, I know I keep saying that, is that the packaged foods without gluten are just as unhealthy as other packaged foods. Like a gluten-free cookie, chip, slice of bread is just as unhealthy as the regular ones. So you want to still do those in moderation. So it will be just easier if you can just buy natural foods, fruits, meats, vegetables. They are all 100% gluten-free in their natural state, and just try to work with those for as much as you can until you start learning a little bit more about gluten. So anyway, that's it for real this time. I'm going to get off now, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening, morning, or wherever you're watching. Bye.